Welcome back to some of the best stories from r/TalesFromTechSupport. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's take a look at the first story. It's called Miss Jones. The first time Miss Jones' system had a problem, she didn't think to call tech support. Miss Jones was a nice lady. She was sweet, armed with a pocket photo album of children and cats, which she constantly mixed up the names of, and with a cubicle so decorated as to give the impression that simply by passing by, one was suddenly back in the best parts of the 1940s. She also baked for the entire office. Every other day, she would come in with some form of delicious pastry or another, and I can firmly say that they were edible at least 50% of the time. The one weakness Miss Jones had was that she was, unfortunately, terribly stubborn. And so it was. The first time her system went down, she didn't call us. She was in the middle of using the company's proprietary Google Docs-like collaboration software when her system experienced some kind of issue and disconnected from the network. To most users, this would be obvious, because the program would lock up and not allow further text added to the document. It was also a simple fix of resetting something on my end, and most users did on their own, but not to Miss Jones. Miss Jones, who understood that computers were basically voodoo boxes, assumed that when she typed on the keyboard and it didn't show up on the screen, the computer was just too slow and couldn't keep up with her, so she kept typing. I understand, Miss Jones, I said over the phone politely, after having listened to her gabble on for a few minutes about her newest grandchild, who was probably named Mr. Whisker Puffs, and I'd be happy to fix that issue for you. Did this start a few minutes ago? No, she replied cheerfully. It happened this morning around 9. I thought it was just being, slow, so I kept typing for a bit. I'm not the kind of lady to jump on these things, so I waited until I was sure there was a problem before I thought to call you. Maybe you can make it, I don't know, catch up to me. It's so far behind now. I looked at my clock. It was 4 p.m. She had been typing array into a non-responsive document for almost 8 hours. I politely told Miss Jones that next time it was perfectly okay for her to call me if it looked like the computer was going slow. And then I reset the program and set her on her way. The second time Miss Jones' system had a problem, she didn't think to call tech support. Miss Jones, I said most politely, though on my end of the line I had facepalmed hard enough to bend my glasses. I do so wish you had reached out to us on Tuesday when this happened. It's a simple fix, but that work you did for the last couple of days, it's likely unrecoverable. She seemed okay with this. Well dear, I guess I'm just not cut out for these magic boxes, She laughed. I fixed her problem. She went about her merry way. Miss Jones, I said pleadingly, wondering if a sacrifice at this ungodly hour of 2 a.m. when Miss Jones had called me up at home, because after working late, she realized that her system was being slow again. I can help you, but why did you wait this long too? I didn't want to bother you, dear, she said innocently, and as it kept getting later, I was afraid I'd be bothering you at home or in bed, but now I just don't know what to do. I sighed and started fixing the issue for her. She went silent while I worked, and then, once I was finished, she spoke up again. Maybe I'm just too old for these silly boxes. Her voice was filled with such a heart-wrenchingly sweet and despondent tone that I just didn't have the heart to be mad at this woman. No, I insisted. Let's just try to figure out a way to make this work. So the next day, I coded a small monitor program and stuck it on her computer. Whenever the program disconnected, it would pop up a little box that said, "This box stopped working by accident. Call support straight away," with a big smiley face. But it was too late. She called me the next day. They asked me if I was interested in an early retirement. She told me after having called the hotline. Her computer wasn't broken. She just wanted to call and let me know I wouldn't be hearing from her anymore. A part of me felt a little broken at the news. Not because of the hard work I put into keeping her up and running, but because, despite being constantly aggravatingly naive about computers, there was something about the fact that she legitimately tried to make my job easier. It struck me as so pure and rare. She wasn't making my job harder per se. and the only person suffering from her lack of expediency in filing tickets was herself. So I went to her retirement party and said hello, and she gave me a big hug and then showed me pictures of her new cat, who was either named Trufflecake or John. And she told me about the things she was planning to do with the extra year of retirement that had been so hastily tacked on. And then the party was over and Miss Jones was gone, with her 1940s decorations and her grandchildren and her cats and her computer and her raid. Her computer? Yes, she had taken her computer, the whole thing, and she had walked right out the door with it, and no one had stopped her. So I had to go visit her at home to get it back. So I went to the address HR had on file for her and discovered that there wasn't a building there and hadn't been since the late 1970s. Apparently she had moved and never updated HR. So now, somewhere out there today, there's a computer. It's probably sitting on top of a mantelpiece somewhere as a souvenir of the world we live in. How completely overrun with technology we have become, to the point where those who don't adopt it are strange and outcast. And there's a lady who is probably humming to herself and knitting, sitting nearby, living in her own old-fashioned world. The next story is called Deleted the Internet. This story goes back years ago, when I was working the help desk at a mid-sized company in the Great White North. We had spent the past year cleaning up systems and making some adjustments to the end-user experience. One of these was setting their homepage in Internet Explorer to the company website instead of MSN. This was mostly due to a lot of complaints from users about how long Internet Explorer took to load when it was first opened. However, as per the request from management, they wanted this done across the board and wanted to prevent users from changing the homepage to something else, only in Internet Explorer. About a day later, I have a frantic end user run into the IT department. I asked, "Is everything okay? How can I help? The internet, it's gone. I can't do my job without the internet. Let me come over and take a look." We walked downstairs to her desk to take a look. "Your internet connection is fine. What was the issue you were experiencing? Click on the internet. Over there. The blue E. Come on, you know the internet." She meant Internet Explorer, as in her world, that was the entire internet. So I clicked on Internet Explorer. Company page loads relatively quickly. See, there's no internet. It's all gone. But this is the internet. This page is hosted on the internet. No way. I've worked here for 10 years. I know what the internet is. And this is not it. I was confused, tired, and slightly annoyed. "Ma'am, the internet is fine. See, I can navigate to other websites with no issues." I went to Google. "You fixed it. You fixed the internet." "Yep, I did. There's been an update to the internet. Now you just need to type Google in the address bar and you'll be good to go." The third story is called Server Keeps Going Down. My friend goes into work one day, just the usual stuff, when someone contacts him about the servers at their work and how every morning, without fail, they completely shut down at 6 AM for around 15 minutes. He goes over to the place, not at 6 AM, to see what was happening and check it out. After about an hour, he can't find anything wrong with it, aside from the abysmal cable management of course. So he decided to come back at 6 AM. The next day he is sitting in their office. And at 5:58 AM, when the cleaner walks into the building, she walks straight up to the power sockets for the servers, unplugs one of them and plugs in her vacuum cleaner. The last story is called Send Someone Now. I got a call. "Hello, please send someone to plug in my keyboard." "I'm sorry, can I take your username?" "No, I need someone to plug in my keyboard right now. It's urgent. You've reached offsite out of our support. We are 400 miles away from you. I'm afraid there's nobody able to plug in your keyboard right now. Are you physically incapable of doing this yourself?" "Of course not. How dare you? Are you telling me there's nobody who can help me?" "It's 9 PM at night. So no, we have nobody on site right now to plug in your keyboard for you. Can't you just plug the USB cable into the back or front of your machine?" The caller grumbles. "Well, I suppose I can." I didn't know what to say. After a little while, the caller said, "Hello?" I asked, "Have you plugged it in?" "I was waiting for you." "I'm sorry, to do what exactly?" "I'm 400 miles away from you. please just plug the USB keyboard into the USB port on your PC. Once my keyboard is working, I'm going to report this to management. I don't know what a UFP port is, and I don't know how to connect anything to this pooter. Yes, she actually called it pooter. Okay. In the background, I could hear the Windows device connection sound. Have you managed to connect it? No, I don't know how to connect anything. Did you connect something? Your PC made a connection sound. I connected my phone to charge. This is such a waste of time. And after ranting on, she hung up on me. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.